83 days left. My mother's life was well organized and full of vitality. Early in the morning, around 6, she dragged me to the market to pick the freshest fish, meat, and fruits, and even bought 2 pounds of crayfish, saying she would make spicy crayfish for me at noon. After breakfast, my mother asked me to drive her to her dance class. I was taken aback. What? My mother blushed slightly. Why? Kids can learn to dance, but I can't because I'm an old lady. I quickly placated her, complimenting her youthful spirit. After dropping Mom off at her dance class, I asked the young dance instructor if I could sit in on the session. The instructor welcomed me with a smile. Mom changed into a white dance outfit, which beautifully accentuated her figure and grace. She danced along with several other ladies, her age mates, moving elegantly to the music. Their lively steps, the grace of their waists, and the smiles on their faces brought unexpected tears to my eyes. How long had it been since I last paid real attention to my mother's life? But Mom, she knew what she loved, where her passions lay, and she lived well. The phrase gray hair can be deceiving. Time never ages a beauty seemed to fit her perfectly. After the class, we returned home, and I helped Mom cook, watching her toss a handful of bright red peppers into the wok with the crayfish. The fragrance of the spices spread throughout the house. Grasping my aching stomach, I forced myself to eat a few. 82 days left. Mom asked if Xavier was comfortable eating alone at home. She suggested maybe he should come over for dinner. I declined, saying he was on a business trip. I didn't inform Xavier I was staying at my mother's, and he likely didn't even know I wasn't at home. 81 days left. Mom and her friends entered a dance competition and won first prize. Watching my mother on the awards podium, I was struck with the desire to sew her a new cheongsam. We had no suitable fabric at home, so I took Mom to the studio that Xavier and I had founded, Twilight Moon. His name was Xavier, and I am Jiajia Moon. The name of our studio was a nod to both of us. It also echoed that famous romantic saying, "The moonlight tonight is so beautiful," as is the gentle breeze. Now, the moonlight is still there, but I am unsure if Xavier's love for me remains. Such a thought is deeply saddening. I walked into the studio with Mom. The receptionist's expression turned sour, and she mentioned notifying Xavier. I told her there was no need. I was just there to pick some things up and would leave shortly after. The receptionist seemed concerned, probably guessing the reason for my visit. To avoid making a scene, I had Mom waiting for me in the guest room. As expected, in the fabric room, Rosalind was being closely instructed by Xavier on how to tailor the cheongsam to look more fittings and attractive. My presence disrupted what seemed to be a flirtatious moment. Xavier quickly withdrew his hands, looking uncomfortable, and asked, "What are you doing here?" I didn't soften my expression, just grabbing some stuff. I had picked out a high-quality piece of fabric I had brought from China 6 months earlier and was about to leave with it. Rosalind stepped in front of me, holding onto the fabric. "This piece has been reserved by a client. Xavier told me to design it." I glanced at Xavier. He avoided my gaze, visibly flustered. I let out a cold laugh, turned to Rosalind. "Some things, once you've touched them, they're yours. But there are things you must not touch." When I was designing cheongsams that sold for over $10,000, you were probably still assisting the master tailor. Rosalind looked at Xavier. "I'm the lead designer of our studio. Are you just going to stand there and let her insult me?" Xavier compressed his lips and then firmly said, "Give it to her." I got the fabric, but my stomach was in knots, making me feel sick. 82 days left. Xavier came home. He called, urging me to return. Mom, sensing the tension between us, suggested I go back and have a proper talk with Xavier. Before leaving, she packed some persimmons I had bought the day before, knowing Xavier's fondness for them. She also gave me a few of my old diaries from high school and college, saying, "If you have forgotten how you fell in love, read these together." I believe these books will remember for you. My eyes reddened with tears. Mom, it's not that I don't love Xavier any longer. It's that he doesn't love me. And I'm dying. To be continued.